Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to Quantum Miracles, the experiment, lesson module 1. I am so excited to have you here with me today and to share with you about how to step into the quantum, how to manifest, how to create, and how to heal the things that are getting in the way of you having what you want in your life. So I honor you all for showing up in your amazingness. I see some people I recognize and some people that I don't notice and recognize. So welcome to those coming back for another program, and welcome to those that are brand new. Manifesting is about a level of consciousness and connection to the conscious, to bring the unseen into the seen. Basically, we're going to learn how to create a quantum leap in our lives. To bring something into the physical world requires focusing not on what you see, but on what we want to see. So before we start today, the very first thing that we're going to do is just have a bit of a connection, but I want you to write down 3 things you see in your life currently, 3 things that you see in your life currently that you don't want to see anymore. We're going to just start with 3. I'm sure there's times where we've had more than 3, and maybe there's some times when we have only had like 1 or 2. But I want you to start first with 3 things that you see in your life currently that you don't want to be seeing. Because we have to recognize how we've already created our world to figure out how we can uncreate that to create something new. Because you are actually already manifesting everything in your life already. Everything that is in your life right now, we have created in some way, through a pattern, through a system, through our trauma, through our karma, through experiences. And we literally transform our inner feelings into our reality and physical matter. All that appears without is within. So we're going to figure out what's going on inside by seeing what's showing up outside. So what are 3 things in your life that you currently don't want to see anymore? And while you're writing those down and thinking about those things, I'm going to go over a couple of things for those of you that are new to Zoom or maybe new to this. Love when you have your video on. I love to be able to see your beautiful faces. I can scroll through and see all of you, and it's awesome. So if you want your video on, I love it. And at times I will call on you, but you don't have to share video, but you can. There is a chat box. If you have questions, put it in the chat box. I can't see the chat box all the time, but I will go and check on it at different points in time so that I can make sure that I'm keeping caught up. You have a little smiley face at the bottom, and that smiley face has reactions in it. You can put up a thumbs up, or you can clap, or so sometimes I'll ask a question, and if you don't have your video on and I can't see you go like, yay, like this, that's me, then you can use or even if you have your video on, you can still put the little thumbs up, or if you're excited about something, you can clap, so you have your reactions there. Everything is recorded. So if you don't make it live for some reason, no worries. We will have it out to you within 24 hours. We try to get them up and out to you within 24 hours. You'll get the link so that you can go back and watch it again. Also, the Facebook group has, if you're inside the Facebook group, if you're in there, you'll notice that I uploaded a couple of files today already. One is called 11 Strategies to Shift from Manifesting to shift from goal setting to manifesting. That is in there. And then also the intention creation formula, which is our manifesting formula. It's really when I talk about the experiment, right? When I talk about an experiment, It is literally a scientific procedure. So we're going to break this down scientifically for you so that not only are you understanding like the woo woo, the metaphysical, but you're really getting some solid scientific steps behind how to experiment with the field, how to create, how to manifest, how to bring those things into your life. So documents that you'll want for that are uploaded in there, and you'll be able to find those. So you can take notes all that you want, but know that some of this stuff is also already printed out for you, so you have that formula and you can you can look over it, because we're going to be doing work today, and we're going to be interacting. And also, you're going to have homework to do for the next 7 days till I see you again. Homework, or play work, I should say, quantum play work, is not really difficult, but it is about consistency. It is about doing it daily. And that means 5 minutes. I'm not asking you to take an hour out of your life every day, although if you want to and you can, the faster the better. But I'm asking you to consistently connect in and really pay attention to your thoughts, the way that you're feeling, what you really are intending. Like, how are you waking up in the morning? What's happening? And we'll have these experiments where you'll get to try things, and you'll want to do them more than once, because it's just like, how many of you have ever gone to the gym and tried to lose weight or build muscles? Yeah. Did you go once or twice and then stopped? Did it work? No. You would have to go consistently over a period of time to get that. I'm at a place now, I've been a competitive athlete my whole life. So people now ask me, like, do you work out every day? I'm like, no, like maybe once or twice a week. That's it. But why? Because I spent years competing and working out almost every day. And so my body has muscle memory. And you can do the same thing with your manifesting, with your creating. If you're willing to put in the work for a while, to where you're doing it all the time, and you're in that space, you'll get to a place where it will automatically flow. You will just be in another level of consciousness. You will shift, you will change, and you'll be in that space without having to go to the gym every day. Right? Like, so that's what our goal is to get you to that space. So I'm asking you for your intention, for your commitment for the next 6 weeks, is to commit to something little every day. I'm not asking you to rework your life. Actually, I want you to actually work it into your life, but I'm asking you to commit, take a commitment. I like to follow what I call the 15-1-1 rule. And if you can follow the 15-1-1 rule in your life, it's almost like the 80-20 rule. Like, a little bit is going to get you a long way. So what I say is 15, it means 15 minutes a day. If you can commit to 15 minutes a day of doing this work, you're going to see massive changes in 6 weeks. 15 minutes a day is not a lot. And honestly, if you don't have 15 minutes a day to work on you and what you want to create in your life and in your future, then you really honestly don't want it. And you're actually okay with where you are right now. And that's my tough love piece coming out, saying you better do 15 freaking minutes a day. And then there's the one. So 15-1-1. The other one is 1 hour a week. Find time for 1 hour a week to dive deeper. This is your 1 hour a week, right? We're gonna meet for a minimum of an hour every week for the next 6 weeks. Maybe this is that week, and maybe you commit to showing up live and doing the work live, and that's your 1 hour. And that's fine if that's all it is, if that's your extra hour. Or maybe you're somebody that needs to get into nature, and your 1 hour is going out into nature and hiking, or putting your feet in the ground, or swimming, or maybe your 1 hour is reading a book. Any nerds out there? I'm a nerd. I read like 6 or 7 books a month. I love to read. I'm a big nerd. And so that, for me, an hour of reading a week is so powerful. But that 1 hour is all condensed together, right? Like that piece. I got up this morning at 4 a.m. and did an hour and a half pineal gland meditation. So that was for me to open up my pineal gland. I'm also like really working on some new stuff. So I'm taking extra time. And then the second one, which you guys will learn about later in the program, but I'm going to explain a little bit today. Your second one is called the Live As If Day. That means 24 whole hours, one whole day of living as if you already are in your perfect divine future. Perfect divine future. And so, like, what does that look like? Well, it could look like, at one point in time for me, it was like going and testing out the Tesla and taking it out for the day and driving it, and then driving past the house that I wanted to eventually live in, and then going having lunch at a rooftop with my girlfriends, living like I had all of the experiences, right? Or my one, another live as if one day for me is all about adventure. So I'm actually doing a kind of live as if weekend coming up. I'm going to Colorado and I'm backpacking for several days, and that's off the grid, off out of the world. My business runs without me. That's my live as if, right? Like I get to do that experience. So one day a month, and we're going to go deep into live as if, when you're going to actually create an experience around that later in the program. So that is what I want you to think about as we're moving into this. Just really make an intention and a commitment right here, right now, for the next 6 weeks to have the most incredible experience and to manifest something amazing. I'm going to teach you the manifesting formula today. I'm going to teach you how to write it out. I'm going to teach you, and we're going to talk about which area you're going to pick, because you're going to pick one main area for the 6 weeks that you're going to work on. You can do little things throughout. We're going to do things where you're going to create and manifest little things and stuff like that. But one main area that you really want to focus on and shift in your life for 6 weeks. And how do we create that? And we're going to talk about the different chakras, the energy centers that these desires are attached to, and illnesses that can come about when we are not clear in those areas, and different things like that. So, all right, 3 things that you have in your life right now that maybe you don't want to be showing up, right? 3 things in your life currently that you don't want to see anymore. Who is going to be bold enough on my first day with you all to open up and share one of those things, one thing in your life that you're creating right now that you've recognized, I've created this, that I'm not showing up? Okay, Becky, unmute yourself, my dear.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I've got is low bank balance, lack of funds. So Melissa already knows this. I'm looking to manifest over $1 million in savings in my bank balance and to be financially free.
Okay. So one of the things that's showing up right now is around financial abundance, right? Is around abundance and finances. Okay, great. So that is attached to our root chakra, and that's about safety and security. And so we'll be able to look into that and say, okay, if I'm having an issue in money or finances or home or stability, that's manifesting in my root. And so we know that we can shift that energy. We can do things with that. Thank you so much for sharing, Becky. All right, who else wants to share? Somebody else. Okay, Laura. Hi, darling.
Hi, I'm so excited. So I want to clear, I have a lot of stuck energy, and I have a hip injury right now, it's going to go, and it's time for it to go. So I want to clear whatever. I have a lot of stuck negative energy. I know it is. I have a lot of fear of moving forward and that type of thing. So I'm going to concentrate on the energy work that be healing my health.
Okay, healing your health. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got hip issues going on, and also in health and wellness is all about the throat chakra. So I'll be fascinated to see in that energetics there, like, where are you not speaking up? Where are you not sharing? Where have you become small? Like things
everywhere.
Like that. Yeah. Well, and so therefore that'll show up in your health. That'll show up in the way that you present in the wellness in the world. Awesome. Okay, so we got a couple of ideas here. So let's talk about, to create miracles and manifest, you must heal the things that stand in the way. So I love how Laura just said, she's like, I know that my body, is not healthy and is standing in the way of what I want to create. So your trauma, your karma, your level of consciousness, your judgments, your brain and your heart will stand in the way of you creating the things that you want. So we've got to look at those things. And what happens when you have those layers is that you will create and manifest physical illnesses in your body. So one way to know if you're not in alignment is to see if you have an ailment or a physical ailment in your body currently. And currently, I mean, that means you weren't born with it, because it showed up in your life after you were born. If you were born with it, completely different story. That could be karmically, that could be something else. It could be something you need to learn in this lifetime. But if you have something that has showed up in your body since you have been born, then that is because epigenetically, they say only 1% of all disease comes from genetics. 99% comes from your consciousness and your environment. Literally, they have tested people that are like schizophrenic, right? Where in one body type, in one personality, we'll call it one personality, that person will have diabetes or have cancer or something like that. And literally they switch into another personality, same body, right? Same body, another personality. Only thing that changed was their consciousness. And those diseases will disappear. If that's possible, what does that say about the power of our bodies and our minds and what we can do, right? So the question that we must answer, now that you kind of got an idea of like, these are the things I don't want in my life, this is what don't want showing up. The reason you must, the question we must answer is, what do I want? I know it sounds like such a simple question, but when you dig deep into what do I want, it is not really about the thing that we think it is ever, right? So let's go back, Becky. I'm going to pick on you for a minute here, okay? So unmute yourself. Becky, you want $1 million in savings, right? You're like, I want to create financial abundance. I want $1 million in savings. So let's dive a little deeper into that. What will having that do for you?
Means I will be able to buy a place and give me some security, because I also got notice on my place that I'm living in on Monday, just gone, that I now have to move in 3 weeks. So the financial abundance will give me the security and stability. I can buy the car, so I don't have to be dependent on other people taking me everywhere. I can then help more people in my massage business, because it means I won't have to be doing an hour's walk round trip to get to work, and I can go places where I want. I can do what I want without the worry of, can I afford it?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So I want you to notice the first two things that Becky said were security and safety. So what if, and this is how we're going to work with this when we get into vibrations and energy, is understanding if I can get you to feel safe and secure, which if that's attached to your money story and your abundance story, and you can get to a place of feeling safe and secure, the money will show up. But if you expect the money to make you feel safe and secure, you're never going to have it happen, because you need to have the feeling first before the thing's going to show up in your life. Right? So some people $1 million might make them ecstatic and happy. And so then we've got to figure out how we get them ecstatic and happy to get them that in that space, right? I'm using $1 million because it's just it's one of those really easy, we can all imagine what, like having $1 million in our bank. And so thinking of it like that. So what we're going to want to do is really dive deep into what is it that Becky really wants. Becky wants safety and security. Now, Becky, will you feel safe and secure if you have $200,000? Yeah, you're shaking your head. Okay. Yeah.
It just means my dreams are a lot bigger, and my dreams make me happy.
Yeah. And so the thing is that we have to sometimes create stepping stones to the bigger dream, because we have to get our bodies into alignment to believe in a space where we can actually have and deserve to have what we want, right? So if I'm here and I'm saying, I want $1 million, or I want $1 million in my bank account, but I average $5 in my bank account, probably going to be pretty hard for me to make that big leap. Now, it's possible. Now, please understand, anything is possible in the quantum, but there's a shifting and an alignment that must happen for you to step into that. So maybe our first goal, right? Our first thing is to say, I want to be able to pay all of my bills with ease. I want to be able to pay all of my bills with ease and have money left over. Now, what if I had that, right? Then if I have that, then I can say, okay, I know what that feels like. I can go into bigger aspects. I've got to be able to believe it. I've got to be able to really feel it in myself. Otherwise, what we're going to create is time and time again where we're showing ourselves that we the falsehood of I actually can't create and manifest. I try, but I never get it. I try, but I never get it. Instead, we want to build the muscle, which is what we're going to do every day. Build the muscle by having all the little things come in until you get to a point where you're like, faith, I believe it. I know it's all going to happen. And then you can say, I want to manifest $5,000 in an hour and it'll show up, right? Or I want to manifest that baby. Like I had somebody that was in one of our previous programs who all she wanted to do was have a baby, but she had belief systems around her body that were keeping her from that. And so that we were able to step in, and guess what? She just had her baby last week. So, right. So the different things that you can do by being able to really step in to that, but the stepping stones are really important, and then healing those things that are getting in the way. So the reason that this question is so important, what do I want, is because when you can put into words exactly what you want to manifest, the image of your desire is created in your mind, even if you're unaware of it. That gives form to your intention, and your subconscious then responds to the image. Therefore, you must determine what it is you desire to manifest. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to really work on what do I want. So what I want you to start with first is you're going to create a list of 10 things that you want. 10 things that you want. Any category: health, wellness, money, home, finances, relationship, love, any of that stuff, but just 10 things, and write them down. Okay, so you have 10 things. Was that easy or was that hard? Hard. Some people, I can see some people saying hard, some easy.
That was easy. It was easy.
Good. Okay, awesome.
I'm still writing.
Good. Okay, good. Well, keep writing, keep going. What happens is once you get really clear and you're open yourself to being able to have a desire, a want, to being able to create an experience, things start to flow faster. Just this past week, so last week I posted on Facebook. I was like, does anybody want, I've been telling all my friends for probably a couple of weeks, all I want to do is go camping. I got to get out in nature, and I want to go to the mountains. I just want to go to the mountains. So I posted on Facebook, and I was like, anybody want to do a house swap? Anybody want to come to the beach? And I want to go to the mountains, but I didn't get any response. Nobody responded to that. But then the next day, two things happened. My one girlfriend messages me and she says, hey, we're all going camping in Kern River, in a couple of weeks. Do you want to go with us? I was like, yes, camping. I got that. And the same day, my friend from Austin, Julie, messaged me and she's like, I'm going to Colorado to go backpacking in the mountains. Do you want to come? I was like, yes. I literally manifested, like, just by speaking and being in alignment, right? Like, two experiences that I was able to do immediately. And that's really our goal here, that when it becomes something where you're in such alignment that you speak it and it becomes, right? You speak it and the experience comes into your life and into your experience. So when we look at these things, you realize that there may be a lot of things that you want to manifest. So you have this list of 10. Now what I want you to do is I want you to prioritize it. So now that you have 10 things listed, I want you to scratch out the numbers that you have beside it right now and put which one's the most important and number them from 1 to 10. Because prioritizing it to get as clear and precise as you can. Until you do that, you will continue to receive a manifestation hodgepodge based on unfocused and sometimes contradictory commands and images that you've been supplying to your subconscious mind. Because in the way that our patterns and our brains work is that you could have 2 things on your list that contradict each other, but you don't actually know it. You might not know that what you want at number 1 and what you want at number 5 subconsciously or in the field or in some way don't actually match up at this time, right? At this time in your life. Maybe the fact that you want more freedom to travel with your family, but you also want to have a super successful business. If you have a belief system that says you can't have a super successful business and have free time, those two things right there are going to create a dissonance against each other, and you're not going to be able to manifest either one until you heal the underlying belief that you can have both, right? That it's easy to manifest and have a successful business while having free time. But if you've never experienced that, and Renee, I'm going to call on you because I see you over there. If you've never had that experience, then you're sitting here saying you want 2 things that the field is actually saying contradict each other. And so you won't manifest either of them. So Renee, you just had a huge aha. So let me hear what's going on for you.
I'm seriously about to cry because that's exactly right. Like, ever since, becoming a single mom and going on this entrepreneurial space, sometimes you feel like I don't have the freedom, but I'm wired for freedom. I want to have freedom and fun. But yet I'm getting up at 5 o'clock to do my self stuff, my reading, my meditation. And this is an old story because back then I was having to drive the kids to school, 1 hour to school and then back to work and then back again. So I was really time poor, right? Mm-hmm. Like losing 4 hours a day traveling sucks. But I've got it back now because the kids, they're freaking home here, right? Because I'm in complete shit lockdown.
Right.
I can't go out of a 5K radius, right? So anyway, but for me, what you just said then, I'm like, I want all this, my online course that I still haven't finished yet, but it's nearly finished, but I want all that. But then I think just what you said was just like, oh, far out that right. whole,
yeah, you're trying to manifest. You want freedom. You want freedom and you want time freedom, and you also want to build a successful business, but you've never actually been able to see that the two can be equal, right? And so therefore, because of that, you're asking for 2 things, and the field's going, well, which one do you want right now? Because your belief system and the message and the vibration that you're sending out is saying, I can only have one or the other. I can't have both.
Yeah, which is why I'm not committed to getting up every day and doing my Facebook lives, because that's generally how I get a lot of my clients, and posting and that sort of thing. And I get distracted and sometimes life happens, but yeah, that's just
so great. So we're prioritizing some of your things. So what's number 1 on your list right now?
Well, number 1, I'd like my fucking freedom back, to be honest. Okay. Part of my French, my Aussie French.
Yeah, right. Freedom is important. So what we look at, what does freedom mean to you? How will you know when you have it?
I don't know. Like, is that even a reality right now, given what's going on in Victoria with the hoo-ha? So I'm making my freedom, what it means to me right now is being able to go down the beach with the kids and the dog. And if I choose to stay out longer than the hour I'm allowed, I bloody well will. Because there's no fucking way I'm living like this. There's just no way. Yeah. But for me, I want to be able to go out and do what I want with the kids or with friends and dine out, whatever, and not have a freaking mask on, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But I've got to work with, I suppose, what's possible. And
Yeah.
that's why the kids and I
Well,
were just,
and also, you know, when it comes to freedom, right? Like looking at what does that freedom really look like to you? How can I create freedom in amidst the midst of this pandemic right now, right? Like freedom could be, I mean, at this point, it could be just not staying in your house. Maybe it's the backyard, or it's the, going out, or it's creating, and having experiences in a different way. Like, how do we play into that? But I got to get you into that feeling of freedom, because that energy, honey, your energy right now is shutting down the rest of your manifestation, right? Absolutely. And so we've got to get you to a place where that we know that's so important. So we've got to find, how can I find freedom? How can I find freedom? Yeah, I feel you, sweetie, and that's okay. I get it. And how can I find freedom when I feel like it's all been taken away, right? Like we look at prisoners who end up going to prison and then find freedom in prison by changing how they are and experience. And so we're gonna have to really get you into a new space and into that, because I can see that it's really affecting you. And I know that's part of what, why we're doing this right now, is we're all massively affected by what's going on in the world, right? I'm used to traveling 6 months out of the year. I get it. I am obviously, I'm not having as much of a challenge. I'm not stuck in a 5K, bubble, but nothing here in California is open. I went to Ohio to have things that were open and things like that. So I feel
I'd like to move there.
yeah, exactly right. Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So,
I've got to remember that commitment and freedom is the same thing. Like I can have both.
yeah, you can. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Remember, everyone, remember that you have been manifesting things your entire life. And because your beliefs and attitudes and thoughts have been charged with your emotions. See right there, Renee, how much charge her emotions. If she stays in that emotion, right, what is she going to create? She's going to create more experiences where she's going to feel less freedom and more experience, right? Because she already feels so trapped. She's going to feel more trapped. And you're going to feel more trapped, because then the trapping goes not from society trapping you, but then you trapping yourself, or feeling trapped by your kids, or feeling trapped by your partner, or feeling trapped by, the food that you're eating, or like whatever, right? Like it compounds on itself, this need or these feelings that start from somewhere else, and then we end up bringing them in. So what we want to do is, your subconscious mind has attracted, these things to us, and they attracted us to us. Why? So we're going to get into the spiritual side behind this. Is why? So that we can heal the things that we need to heal to create and live the purpose in the life that we had. Every challenge that you have in your life is actually a blessing and a gift from God, source, whatever you want to call it, because it's here to teach you how to heal something for your ascension, for that next level, for you to manifest and create at a whole nother level. So although it feels pretty freaking crappy, right? Like COVID is a beautiful gift in a really ugly wrapping. It feels really crappy, but it's here to show us and bring us something new. We are in the midst of the phoenix, right? The fire, the cocoon, we want to call it, where the butterfly is going to emerge on the other side. But before every breakthrough, there is a breakdown. You must break down old beliefs, ideas, and habits to break through to a new existence. And the only reason that we're seeing the things that we're seeing right now is because we have to break down everything that came before to allow the new consciousness to emerge. And that's where we're at. So you have this list, right? And you have these things that you want. And I just want you to just notice where your number one is. Look and see if maybe one of those things that are on that list is contradicting something else. Pay attention to those things so that we can look at healing those later. You're gonna take that number one that's on there for you, and we're going to use that later to create your manifestation manifesto for today, as we dive deeper into this. And now the next thing I want you to look at with that list is ask yourself if you feel that it's realistic. And if you know how to muscle test, I've ever done any muscle testing, muscle test yourself. Because if your conscious mind says, yes, I want that, but your subconscious mind, which is your body and everything else, is saying, nope, I don't deserve that, I'm not allowed to have that, then guess what? Are you going to create it? No. Or if your conscious mind, and we'll get into this in module 2, when we talk about the difference between thinking a thought, feeling a thought, sitting into the vibration of the universe, is if I'm thinking that I want freedom, but I am feeling trapped, I'm going to what? Create more feeling trapped. If I'm thinking I want to create $1 million, but I'm feeling like I can't pay my bills, I'm going to create more, I can't pay my bills. If I am feeling like I want a baby, but in my heart, I don't like my body and I don't want to get fat, if I have a baby, I'm not going to create a baby, right? I'm going to create more infertility in my life. Think about it. Very powerful stuff. Okay. So I want you to look down through your list and say, is it realistic? That is, do you think it's something that you can manifest? Is it, and then is it something that contradicts the laws of physics, space, and time? Listen, there is a point where I can say, I'm sorry, none of us on here are going to be professional basketball players on the NBA. So if that's number 1 on your list, it's not realistic. It defies the laws of physics, space, and time, and you got to let it go. Right? I mean, like, we've got to be real within the terms of our experiences of what you want to create. But can you be a phenomenal, incredible coach or spiritual leader or mother or create $1 million? Yes, 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 yes. Are you going to be the next, a Van Gogh? I don't know, maybe, but like get realistic into what you're thinking and look at that. So if the answer is no, 1, do you think that you can manifest it? Or 2, does it, contradict the laws of physics, time, and space? If you can answer no, if it's not realistic, scratch it off the list, right? Because it's most likely not going to happen. And obviously, if it contradicts the laws of nature or the physical universe, then it's not something that your subconscious can arrange for you at this time. And if you feel it is too grand or grandiose or outrageous, or that you secretly don't deserve it, then you're not going to manifest it at this time. Take it and hold it for later once you learn how to figure that out, right? That's because our subconscious knows what you think and feel. And when we shift how you think and feel, then you'll be able to go back and get that thing that you wanted that's right now out of your reach. Because think about it. So we've got to look at, this is how we get the things that we want, right? There are 4 ways. There's actually 5, but we're not going to get into 5 because that one's way beyond the level of this course, or most of us, right now, including for sure myself. But you say, I want a surfboard. And several of you have heard this story before, right? I want a surfboard. And you say, okay, and you go to the store and you buy a surfboard. That's one way to get what you want, right? You manifested it, you spoke it, you thought, first it was a thought, then you said it out loud, and then you went and got it, right? The second way is you say, I want a surfboard, and you call up your maid or the house cleaner or your best friend and say, hey, would you do me a huge favor? Will you go to the store and get me a surfboard? And they're like, okay, great. So you thought at first, right? Remember, it started as a thought. You didn't, how many of you have actually thought, I want a surfboard? Well, I have, right? So that's where it comes from. I said it, I want to create it. So if it's not something you think about, obviously it's probably not going to show up in your life, right? So you're not going to call somebody and tell them to go get it for you. The next is I want a surfboard, and it miraculously comes to you in some sort of way. Meaning that you didn't call somebody to say, I want it. You didn't go get it yourself, but somehow somebody or something or whatever, it shows up and you get a surfboard. Or, like Yogananda does, and he says, I want a surfboard, and it manifests instantly. And you're like, oh, wow, surfboard, thanks. Awesome, cool, right? That's a little beyond our workings at this time. And, but what we're working on is number 3. I want a surfboard, and it miraculously gets to you. So back in 2018, a couple of months before my birthday, I was surfing all the time. I'd learned how to surf in Indonesia in 2017. I came back to California, and my girlfriend and I would take her surfboards out to go surfing. Well, she was much better than me, and she had these like smaller surfboards, and they were super hard. And to be clear, I just never got up on the California surf ever with these darn surfboards. And so I was doing one of the experiments that we're going to do in this program, which is where you write down 3 things that you want. Basically, it's like Amazon, you want to show up in your life from the universe. And one of them I wrote down was a surfboard. I was like, I want a surfboard. Okay. My girlfriend and I broke up, and then I had my birthday party coming up a couple of weeks later. And sure enough, in through the door on my birthday walks a surfboard. So I had put it out there, and energetically, I hadn't told anybody I wanted a surfboard. I hadn't, but I had written it down. I had followed my process, and a surfboard had showed up in my life. Another way that this happens too is when I was in Bali excuse me, hold on one second. When I was in, I lost my voice. When I was in Bali in March, it was right around the time where they were doing the day of silence that they do. And it was right when COVID was starting, and I was having issues getting back to the US, and I ran out of contact solution. And I was like, oh my God, none of the stores are open. There's nothing. I need contact solution. What am I going to do? I need to manifest some contact solution. I said that. The next day I walked into the kitchen at the place that I was staying, and there was a bottle of, I'm telling you, it was not there before. There was a bottle of contact solution in the kitchen. I was like, awesome. Yay, contact solution, right? Like when you can get into that space where things like that manifest and create. And I know people say, oh, well, I'm sure maybe it was there and you just didn't see it or what. No, I'm telling you, this stuff happens. And that's where I want to get you into, okay? So we're going to dig deep into that. So in manifesting, we have to first dig deep, right? We're going to work on your habits and your patterns that allow you to stay stuck where you're at. Habits and patterns can transform what you can't see, right? And we want to imprint new patterns through healing your trauma and your karmic issues and reprogramming your brain. So part of your work in this 6 weeks is, I know you came to take a manifesting class, but guess what? You're going to get you some stuff healed too, because that's what we come for. So, you know, I sell you manifesting, and I send you healing. Because that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna work on healing some of our brains, our trauma, the karmic issues that have us stuck. And so we're gonna look into our patterns. We're gonna look deep into our mindset. We're gonna look into our fears. What do you fear, right? I was working with a client earlier today who had a feel of failure. Turns out that it wasn't actually his fear. He got it from his father, right? And I'm not allowed, I don't ever give up who my clients are, what they do, but I'll, you know, share pieces like that. But fear of failure. So you heal that fear of failure, and guess what? You'll create and manifest new things in your life. Then we have to get specific and practice, right? So today's all about clarity, getting set on the purpose. We're going to write our formula. We're going to get really specific, and then you're going to practice it, because what? Habits are everything. 28 days to create a habit. So you're going to embed the habits that will give you the ability to create what you want. And you have to have clarity about what you want to receive and what you desire. And, you know, desire can be such a dirty word. But if you have the desire, if it's coming to you, you are God, you are source, you are part of the infinite, you are part of that love, that channel. So if it's coming to you, that is because you are meant to create it. If you didn't have the idea, it wouldn't show up, right? Like there's 1,000 things out there in the world that I was like, I never would have thought of that. And I wouldn't want that thing, right? But if it's come to you, then that's because the desire was planted by the God source, whatever you want to call that, for you to have. Otherwise, it wouldn't show up. Another big part of this is connecting to your purpose. If you just want to, I mean, there's no problem with just wanting to manifest a car or a house or $1 million, right? But what if it's deeper than that? And it's about connecting to your purpose. It's creating the growth that allow you to connect in, right? What's your individual good in the world, and how does it connect to the greater good? I promise you, if you seek fulfillment over happiness, you're going to create everything, right? Fulfillment, finding your life purpose and your deep purpose, what you're meant to be here for, that alignment. I'm telling you, I know so many people that want to have 7 figures, that want to do these things. And when they drop into their alignment, as long as they're getting to have the lives they want, they really could care less. The money, the need for certain things goes away when you are in alignment and fulfilled. It really does. It's amazing. And then the rest of it's just gravy. And then we're going to teach about reciprocity, because the idea of what you give, you receive, right? But we have to fill your cup to overflow and to give. The energy of compassion integrates giving into the now. So give of what you have in abundance. This could be time, knowledge, a smile, or money if you have it, like whatever. But that giving, that manifestation, that compassion, that gratitude for where you're at right now will shift everything. And so we want to do that. We want to create that. So we're going to talk now about this intention creation formula. I want you to keep it short and simple. I'm going to actually share my screen again and show you. You can go into the group and download this file right now for yourself. It is called the Intention Creation Formula. And I'm also going to share my screen. And I'm going to walk you through it step by step so that you can really see what we're going to do. So when we create a formula, all right, again, manifesting is not about creating or attracting what you want. It's an awareness and an understanding that you attract what you are. And so when we create this manifesto of manifestations, you're going to look at number one. Whatever your number one was is the one that I want you to focus on. And you're going to write it out. 2 or 3 sentences is more than enough, right? But enough that when you write that out, we want to be able to create a picture or an image in our minds from it, so that when you read it, it creates an image, because you're going to use that image every day in your overnight oats method that I'm going to teach you to do an imagination creation formula that's going to allow you to bring this into your life and super quick, right? So you're going to create, and you're going to take this one thing and listen. Number one, you're going to write a manifesto, 2 to 3 sentences. It must be in the present tense. It has to have positive language. So you're not saying, I don't want to be trapped in my house anymore. Right? So I'm going to use Renee's because of her need for freedom, right? So I am so excited and grateful now that I have the freedom that I desire, right? So did you notice I used excited, grateful, right? So emotionally powerful and authentic. When you get the thing that you want, so if it's $1 million, so for Becky, Becky, I'm not going to use $1 million. I'm going to say that I am so, I feel so safe and secure now that I can pay all of my bills easily, have money left over, and I have a home, something like that, right? Like something that along those lines, that safety and security is where I want you to start with that. But so it's in the present tense, meaning that in the quantum, I have it right now. When you say I want, you are showing lack. And lack is a vibration that will bring more lack. I am now experiencing, I now have, I am grateful for, thank you for, right? And that means in the spirit of gratitude. And make it what you truly desire, not what somebody else wants, not, this, but what do I truly desire? You want to eliminate possibility. What does that mean? Eliminating possibility. Eliminating judgment. We don't want to eliminate possibility. Eliminating judgment. Eliminating judgment is saying that if you have judgments around why you can't have this thing, you don't want them in there. And then notice that it has infinite possibility. This were something better, because sometimes what we think we want, and I'm going to put these in the chat box for everybody. Wait, we want to stop. What we think that we want is not always what the universe has in store for us. And we could want a heck of a lot more, or it could want something different for us, because the universe always answers everything in one of 3 ways. Yes. Yes, but not now. No, something better. So yes means I ask for this thing and I get it right away. Yes, but not now says the universe is saying, yes, you can have that, but there's a reason why you can't have it right now. Right? For me, I've wanted to find the love of my life and have in marriage forever. But what I've come to learn, and I know that the answer is yes, but not now. And I'll get to what the no something better is, right? But what I've recognized is that the yes, but not now means that there were things that I needed to do business wise, in the world, travel wise, experiences that I needed to have that I needed to have before I was allowed to have the love of my life. Before I was allowed to have that. I've had many amazing, incredible relationships, but it was never the one, right? It was not the one that was going to be the next. And it really bothered me for a while. And there was really a long time where I thought that the universe, the answer was a no, and the no something better, meaning that sometimes, in our lifetimes, we're going to have loves and many, many loves, but it doesn't include certain things. And that's because it's going to be better then. And I'm actually in an experience right now where maybe the answer is no, something better. I'm not really sure quite yet, in the space that I'm in. So, right, yes, but not now, no, something better. So if it's a yes, not now, then that's where you're at, where you got to learn what do I have to heal to get the shit out of the way? What do I need to, heal? So now what I want you to do, everybody, raise your hand if you have your 3 or 4 sentences. I know I've been talking the whole time. So do I need to stop for a second? Okay. Give me a thumbs up or a raising of the hands or whatever I need. Dun-dun. Okay. So what you're going to do is I'm going to put this on pause and you're going to stand up if you can with your thing on mute and you're going to read it out loud. And when you read it out loud, if it does not make you feel the feelings that you feel when you're reading it, then you don't have it. So if it's excitement because if it's safety and security, if it's excitement, if it's love, it's joy, it's bliss, read it out loud. What is the feeling that emits from your body when you read it? And then notice how your body moves. Do you move forward? Do you move backwards? Do you move side to side? What do you feel in your body? Because your body is going to tell you if you believe it or not, and if it's real for you. All right, go. Okay, who is somebody that felt really excited, that was it felt like you've got it really good, and you're willing and want to share it with everybody so we can hear. I'm looking for, put a thumbs up because I can't see everybody at the same time, and that way I'll get a dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I think Becky, did you raise your hand? All right, So I'm going to unmute you. All right, I'm going to take off. I'm going to have you. So I want you to stand up, Becky.
Okay, so sorry, I'm having to read at the same time.
I want you to
But-
just read it out loud.
So I feel so safe and secure and happy that I can pay all of my bills with ease, and I have plenty of money left over every week, and I'm so thankful and grateful.
Awesome. Now, does that feel real for you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so is that a good segue into the $1 million? Because I feel
Yes.
that, right. Yeah. Right. Like that's a really great place to start where I can be like, and I know that I'll feel safe and secure there. I know that, and I could tell by the energy of your body, right? Like everything that you were showing that's powerful for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So now can I get somebody, was there somebody that wrote theirs that maybe not as didn't feel it in their body or want some help like changing what they have written? Here we go. Nikki, hi, darling.
Hey, mine is positive, not negative.
Okay, great. Let's do it. I'm in.
Okay, so my body is feeling full functioning with healthy blood sugar levels. It's easy to achieve a 100 blood sugar count, and I feel grateful and thankful.
Okay. So you're grateful and thankful, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And what were and you actually put specifics in there, which I loved. Like you were like, I want it to be at a certain level, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's really important for that. And when you said that, how did it feel in your body?
Well, I swayed forward. It's very positive. I
Okay.
muscle tested, very positive.
Great. Awesome. Perfect. So that's the key. And so for you also, when you read that, what's the image that you see in your mind? Like what do you conjure up? Can you actually see yourself in that healthy body?
I will work on that. Yeah.
Okay. That's the next piece that we're going to do, because that's going to be the goal is that we've got to be able to see that image of ourselves as that person. Okay. Beautiful.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Did anybody have one that they were maybe not so sure about, wanted to share? Or anybody that wanted to just share another? Lara. Okay. Yes, dear.
I'm happy to work on it a little bit. I would like maybe a little bit of guidance around it. So I know two things. I know I'm here doing this healing work, and I definitely know I have a lot of things in my body I want to work on, trauma release and things like that with the energy healing piece.
Okay.
And I also literally do have a surgery plan for my hip coming up, and it's getting scheduled tomorrow. So combining that, the amount of freedom and joy that it's going to give me to be recovering from this surgery and to just be able to, look at stairs and run up them again. Like it's so hard to believe.
I love that. So I love that you specifically put, so what I want you to do is like, I am feeling what you said that I'm feeling so much freedom and joy in my body as I am able to freely move, run upstairs, and feel, healthy, like that, the idea of like, and can you actually envision that yourself in that body?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it every day, but like I wanted to kind of come up with a sentence around it because I can't wait to get back to the gym and go biking. And it's so like my husband and I say it every day.
So I am feeling so much freedom and joy in my body now that I'm able to go back to the gym, run up the stairs, feel healthy. Like those things are very milestones in that. And then you can see yourself at the gym. You can see yourself running up the stairs. You can see yourself and that freedom, and the freedom and joy are important because those feelings of expansion, we can grab from other places to meld into this, right? But I want you to be able to actually see it. So the keys to manifestation, right? The formula is feel it in your body, see the picture of it in your mind, right? And then have the thoughts in your head, right? So you have those three things are what we want to project out to the world to create that. So I would use that. Like I have so much freedom and joy in my body now that I'm able to go to the gym, run up the stairs, and I am, and I'm at my perfect weight or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, perfect. I'll do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So now to the next piece, we're going to talk about a little bit around I'm going to share my screen again and show you how these are connected to our chakras. So we all have, you know, the 7 chakras, and at the bottom is your root chakra. And then you have the sacral, then you have the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. We're going to be learning processes to align these areas, but if one of these is blocked, like the place that you're most blocked, or what you're having the most challenge creating in, is probably because that chakra area is blocked too. And so this here, it shows kind of like some of the things that can be attached to when that chakra is blocked. So in the areas over here, if it's your root chakra, which is about money, finances, material possessions, stability, that's your root chakra. And that's thinking about things as like survival, physical needs, a community of like tribal community. And we can end up with physical issues or things like that. You might have adrenal issues or trauma response, like a fight or flight response. You might have bone or skeletal structural issues. Very fascinating to see what's going on in those areas. So another way you can, the reason I'm showing you the connection is if you actually have a physical ailment in your body, you can kind of backtrack it and see which chakra it's attached to and find out, is that the same chakra that I'm trying to create in? And maybe that's why I created this disease. We've had people that have had instantaneous healings in our programs from healing one of these areas and manifesting what they want, and then the disease that or whatever was attached to it disappeared. Back in Australia last year at my retreat, I had a woman who had a stroke for about a year prior, and half of her face was paralyzed. And it turned out that we walked her through the chakra walk process, and when she walked through it, her face within 20 minutes completely healed itself. And it was attached to her relationships and to her health. So it was those 2 chakras that were blocked. And when we healed that and she was able to release that energy, it actually healed her physical face. So it's really powerful to think about that. So I'm going to walk through each of the areas so you can figure out your number 1 that you just created, your manifesto, your manifesting manifesto, in which chakra does it reside in? And then you'll know which chakra yours is for. So if you are doing anything around home, as in buying a home or material possessions or money or finances, then that would be your root chakra. Now, this does not mean if you're trying to make more money in your your business and your purpose is different than your financial stability. Please do not attach the 2 together. Although usually your business will give you financial stability, vice versa, but they're not the same thing. Chakra number 2, your sacral chakra, is all around your creativity, your sexuality, new beginnings. So if you're having a block, like maybe you're an author and you want to write your next book, and you haven't been able to write it. This one's me. I was in 3 books, 2015, 2016, 2017. 2018, I swore I was going to write my 4th book, and now it's been 3 years. And so I finally just started it after 3 years. But that's because I was blocked in my creativity, that thing, and about stepping into new beginnings in that area. And so I noticed that also in my sexuality. I became super, super hypersexual. Still am. Have had all these things around my like sexuality and that balance in that area. So it was fascinating to realize that those 2 were attached to each other. Number 3, your solar plexus is your core. It is your power center. It is your life purpose. It is your career. It is your vocation. So if you're working on what is my purpose in this world, or manifesting a better job or a new vocation, or like, who am I, that personal power, that center, then that is the chakra you want to pay attention to. If you are wanting to manifest around family or love or relationships, that's your heart chakra. So that's all about love and relationships. Maybe you're looking for like Clarice in one of my other programs, who, when she came into my program, she was in a relationship with her boyfriend that she was very unhappy with, and came to my retreat in Bali in March of last year. Within 6 weeks of that retreat, met her now fiance, who she then brought back to my retreat in Bali this year. And she was working on that area. So love and relationships is attached to the heart chakra. The wellness chakra, our throat chakra, is all about health and well-being. So it's also about communication. My first client that I ever had an instantaneous healing with was back in 2011. And we were working on, I was a health coach at that time. It was before I was doing what I'm doing now. And we were working on her thyroid condition. She had hypothyroidism. So we were working on, her health and her wellness, and in that whole area. And what happened was, she had a communication issue and an issue with her husband and her son. And as soon as she was able to clear that and heal that situation, her hypothyroidism went away instantaneously. Her doctors were shocked. They said they'd never seen anything like it. It's not that hard. So that's health and wellness. So if you're working on something in your body, physical ailments, wellness, things like that, then we want to look at that throat chakra area. And that also has to do with our metabolism and our regulation and things like that. Next is our crown, our third eye. The third eye chakra is all about your personal and spiritual development. So if you've come into this program, like I had a woman that was in my last program, Quantum Miracles Mastery, who one of her goals was to start hearing her guides, to start getting answers and downloads. She's a healer and wanted that and everything. So she was working on her intuition and her wisdom and that, that deepening of her personal spiritual development. That's what her manifesto was around. And by the end of the program, she was getting all sorts of downloads and seeing things and getting signs. And but that's your third eye chakra. And then the last one, if you are looking and you're trying to manifest in contribution or service, meaning giving back, like one of my goals, I'm a philanthropist and I love to give back. And before COVID hit, I was working on projects in Africa, in a couple of countries in Africa, and in Indonesia and in India, to give back and to take my quantum healing work and intuitive intelligence work to those countries. I've done a lot of work in those countries already, not in Africa, but over in India and Nepal. And I was going in to do deeper contribution work, but right now some of that's blocked. So I'm doing more here in the US with trafficking and things like that. So that one, so then you would want to focus on your crown chakra. So when we're looking at like which areas you need to work on, it's just a good thing to know. It's a great way to kind of pay attention, see, okay, where am I at? So Becky, yours would be root chakra, right? Laura, yours is your throat chakra, so just like paying attention and seeing where that lands. So now we're going to take and wrap this all up together today into imagination and possibility and the creative visualization and your homework for how you're going to take this manifesto and start to use it on a daily basis until we get into our next modules where you're going to start to learn to heal your body, create alignment, do those things where we're going to start to play even more in the field. So it is the coupling of imagination, the idea that something could be, with an emotion that gives life to possibility that it becomes a reality. Manifestation begins with the willingness to make room in our beliefs for something that supposedly doesn't exist, right? Supposedly, remember I'm saying supposedly doesn't exist, because in the quantum, everything does exist right now. So that healthy body that you want does exist. That money that you want does exist. That home, that freedom that you want does exist. But we have to create that something, right? We have to make room for it and create that something through the force of consciousness and awareness. The poet, William Blake, who is my favorite poet ever, which is so funny because I actually did a dissertation on William Blake when I was in college, having no idea who he was or what he had to do or how he connects into the quantum in this whole world and what I'm doing now. I was so fascinated by his work back then. And so now I just see how the world is so incredible and bringing it around. But William Blake recognized the power of imagination as the essence of our existence, rather than something that we simply experience occasionally in our spare time. He said, man is all imagination. Or he said, clarifying, the eternal body of man is the imagination. That is God himself. So but for the imaginary ideas of this one moment to become the reality of another, there must be something that links them together. something in the fabric of the universe, there must be a connection. There must be a connection between our past imaginings, our present, and our future realities, right? Don't you agree? There's got to be a connection. Like what we've created today is connected to our past. What we will create tomorrow is connected to our present. Like all of these things, we've got to look at that. Einstein firmly believed that the past and the future are intimately entwined in the fourth dimension out of reality called space-time. The distinction between the past, the present, and the future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. And they've now proven that to be very true. And so we want to tap into that quantum. And we're going to get into one of the modules. We'll get into the quantum and the quantum soup and the field and how that all works. So I'm not going to get into that today. What I'm going to get into is the realm of imagination, the realm of visualization, because we want to rewire the brains. The synopsis is and rewire our brains, which is a physical part, but we have to work in with the brain. The brain sees in pictures. It literally sees in pictures. That's how it communicates. Our hearts, in turn, communicate with the field through emotion, and the language of the field is emotion. But what happens when you think of like programs like The Secret or hear these things? Why is it that some people actually manifest and create and some people don't? Because they're only hitting one part of the formula. They're missing a piece. They're either only talking about vibration or emotion, or they're only talking about the subconscious and their thoughts, or they're only talking, right? Like you've got to combine it all together, and we need to bring all of that together. That scientific formula helps you to create. So to use creative visualization, it's not necessary to believe in anything metaphysical or spiritual ideas. It's not even necessary to have faith in anything outside of yourself. This is a mental technique that uses imagination to make dreams and goals come true. And if used in the right way, it will alter your environment and circumstances, cause events to happen, and attract money, possessions, work, people, love into your life. It uses the power of the mind and the power behind that. And so we're going to start, before we get into vibration and emotion, we're going to start to use our brains and our minds to create this visualization that you're going to be doing every day for only like 3 to 5 minutes. Can we commit 3 to 5 minutes a day? Yeah. Yes. Am I getting yes? Okay, great. All right. So by visualizing a certain event, situation, or an object, you attract it into your life. It is a process that's similar to daydreaming, but it is not daydreaming. And you know, it's kind of like having a genie at your disposal. So we're going to use this technique in our everyday affairs. So how does this work and why? Well, the subconscious mind accepts the thoughts that you often repeat. When it accepts them, it changes your mindset accordingly, as well as your habits and actions. So we're going to endow this creative power that molds your life and attracts you to what you think. So we're going to be pushing this in and asking it to do that through the visualization of the creation that you've already written down. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this 3-4 sentences that you have, right? And we're going to turn it into a visualization. Now you can write that visualization out if you want, or you can just close your eyes and create the scene. But I want it to be a scene, meaning I want it to be a day in the life. You have to see yourself in that new body, in that new experience, with that thing, doing that thing, with people around you. I want you to feel it, smell it, see it, touch it. I want you to be able to vividly have that moment in time. Why? Because you're going to actually create it for yourself, and it will show up. It will show up in your life, and it's going to be amazing. So I'll tell you my story of how this happened, how I did this in my life one time, and it blew me away. Back in 2015, I was having my second or third conference, and Dr. John Demartini, he had keynoted. So Dr. John Demartini was in The Secret. He's, I don't know if you guys heard of him. Some of you have. He had been my keynote speaker at a previous conference, and he had messaged me and said, "Hey, why don't we do an event together?" And he's like, "I'm coming to Miami." So we did a one-day event. And my goal for this event, what I wanted to create was I wanted, 100 people. I sold sponsorships to the event. I did these things. We had a couple other speakers coming in. And I was really excited about this event. 3 weeks before the event, I had 25 tickets sold. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I promised, because my sponsorships were, I promised to put at least 100 people in the room for my sponsors. They get the things that they offered, like I had to do terror sponsorships and things like that. Promised them. Plus, it's Dr. John DeMartini. Like, this guy's like super amazing, and like he wants to do an event with me because he keynoted at my event. He wants just me and him. Like, I got to show up. And so I created this visualization in my mind, and I saw myself standing in the room on stage with him. I was in a blue dress, and I'm hugging him, and I'm looking out, and it's standing room only. Literally, like there's people, like we have all the seats, but there's people standing around because there wasn't enough seats for them. I saw this, and I'm standing next to him on stage, and I'm in this blue dress. I don't own the blue dress at all. Like, I don't own it. And at this time, so 3 weeks before, what did I do? Every day I just went into this visualization. I saw myself there. I saw the people's lives being changed. I saw it happening. I saw myself in the blue dress. I saw him and I hugging. I saw him and I talking on stage together. And 2 weeks, so a week goes by, and 2 weeks before the event, I had stylists that came in that always brought me my dresses for my events, because I hate to shop. And I wasn't going to go buy anything. So they would bring them to me. They knew my size and everything. They'd bring me 1, 2, 3 dresses. I kid you not. One of the dresses was the exact blue dress that I had in my visualization on stage. I didn't tell them I was looking for a blue dress. I didn't tell them anything. I told nobody. It was the exact dress that I was in my visualization. It was I didn't know. It turns out it was a Ralph Lauren dress. Whatever, the side thing or whatever, that was the dress. I didn't even try it on. I said, well, that's the dress. They're like, you want to try it on? I was like, no, that's the dress. Like, I already know. Well, fast forward 2 weeks. By the time the event came around, the day of the event, we sold out. We were oversold. We had standing room only. And the exact moment that I'm standing on stage with Dr. John DeMartini, and we're hugging and looking out at the crowd, which was the vision that I had, came into fruition in my life. It works. I've done it time and time again. It's powerful. You will create it in your life, and the day that you walk into it, you will blow your own mind. It is so awesome. So you're going to create a scene or feeling that implies you have already arrived at the place of your dreams. So whatever's number 1 on your list, decide on something you would like to have, work toward, realize, or create. So we're picking from number 1, right? So I want you to take that number 1, and I want you to create it. Really, really create a clear idea or picture. Imagine every conceivable moment and idea, right? Everything that would happen in that scene. Think of it in the present tense as already existing the way you want it. Imagine yourself in the situation as you desire it, because we're going to actually step you into it today for the first time before we leave. And I want you to feel it, and I want you to see it. And if you need help, you might want to make an actual picture of it as well, right? Maybe you get some details, or you do something like that, or whatever. Like, people love to do, what's it called? Vision boarding or something. But only don't do a whole vision board, because that gets like, there's a whole thing around vision boards, and like, if you have too much stuff on one thing, and like, again, the hodgepodge, one might be counteracting the other, just for the event, just for this specific thing, right? Okay. So think about this. These are the things you want to think about in your imagination visualization: sights, sounds, colors, textures, aromas. Remember, I saw the blue dress. I knew it was silky. It went this way. I saw myself on stage. I saw the people standing in the crowd. I smelled the doTERRA oils that were coming from the sponsorship table, right? Like, all of those things. Make the scenes in your mind's eye as real and visible as possible, if it is possible. Now, if you're one of those that can't actually see visualizations in your mind, you create it outside of your mind, and then you think those thoughts, right? And you feel it in your body while you're doing the visualization. It doesn't matter whether you can actually visualize or not. Some people have challenges actually seeing an actual vision. That's okay. It's all the same process, as long as you know what it is. Like, if you can tell me, and if I pick on you and you tell me, and I say, I know it's me, and it's with my 3 kids, and they are this age and this age and this age, and we're sitting on green grass, and it's prickly, and whatever. If you can explain that to me, then you'll be able to do this. And I felt joyful and happy and ecstatic, right? So I'm going to give you guys about 2 or 3 minutes to really figure out that vision, and then I'm going to put you guys into a meditation. and you're going to visualize it. And then also write down the feelings that go with it. Whatever the 2 or 3, 4 feelings that come with that event, that feeling that go with this manifestation manifesto. Everybody give me a thumbs up when you're ready. When you have your vision ready and you're ready, just give me a thumbs up so I can see it. Get started with the meditation. What we're gonna do when everybody's ready is we're gonna do simple 5 minutes. That's it. And it's okay if you can't stay focused the whole 5 minutes, right? You just go back in. Part of the goal is you're gonna see the picture, the event in your mind, and you're gonna feel the feeling in your body, whether it's a feeling of joy. And if it's a feeling of joy or excitement or gratitude or happiness, I better see that on your face, because otherwise, really, you know, we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna turn up the music for you here and just allow you to step into the experience. Just feel the feeling. Be that event. Breathe it in. How was that? What was your experience? Let's pull on somebody that I haven't talked to. Denise. Can you hear me, Denise? Or you're on mute? Can you unmute yourself and share? Let's see. Okay, no response from Denise. Let's see. Yes, I can post that chakra picture on Facebook. Okay, how about Benjamin? You want to share, Benjamin?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I felt just like peace and gratitude. I can smell like an ocean breeze. I can feel it on my face,
Okay.
and I was in the moment.
Good, good. Can you harness that and hold on to that and do that every day for 3 to 5 minutes?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can do that.
awesome. Good. Thank you. Let's see, who else haven't I picked on today? Anna. Anna.
I knew you were coming to me.
You manifested that. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because what I got is a scene that I've actually had a couple of different times for the same overall related to my job, and not my current job, but my overall purpose. So it was fascinating to see more of the details that came up doing it this time, the way that you led us into it versus normally and just staying in it longer. I stayed there a lot longer than I usually do.
Okay, awesome. And so does it feel more real to you?
it it feels real, but it also feels weird in that it's so different from where I'm currently at, and I feel like there's a short term kind of plateau that's that step in between, like you were talking
Okay.
about with the money, right? Like I
Yeah.
can see that for my long term, but it's like in my mind but not at the
Yeah.
same
So
time.
so I love that. Thank you for sharing, because I think that's really powerful. I have a vision that I have had that I do that came to me. I didn't actually create it. It came to me because sometimes they just come to you. And I've had it now for five years. And I know it's part of my bigger vision. And I'm telling you, the day that I step into that day, I'm going to be mind blown, like blown away, right? Like, but the thing is because I'm holding on to that bigger vision. All of the things that are happening in my life are pulling me towards that. And I
Yeah.
know that. And so it's surreal because especially 5 years ago, it wasn't anywhere near something that could have been a possibility for me 5 years ago. And now 5 years later, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm so close. So close that I mean that I know it's going to show up pretty darn soon in the next couple of years. Like I just know, but every step and all the things that have been happening in my life have pulled me towards that moment in time. And so I love keep that vision, keep that bigger vision. For me, it's one that I do maybe when I step into it. I don't do it every day. I do it maybe once a week right now. It's like that because I have other ones that I do for other things that I'm creating, which you were in our other program where you can do ones for all the different areas. So keep that one as a bigger vision. And for this week, focus on that one every day. But then maybe you put that as your bigger one that you do once a week that keeps that space into moving into that, and then work on those other ones that are the in-betweens.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that helps.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. All right. Does anybody else want to share? Anybody else excited about theirs or felt it was really good or have a challenge? Where we could talk about challenges too. Let me help you with it. If it's like I couldn't feel it, I didn't notice it, like not sure what to do. Like, while you have me here, let me help you to really get to where you want to go. Yeah, Becky.
So it wasn't like I could visualize it, but I couldn't do the smells and stuff like that. So I was visualizing there's a big group of us, and I was able to pay for dinner and also
Felt so
surprise
good,
pay
right?
a trip away, and that was where I was just feeling amazing, and
Yeah.
loving giving the joy to everyone as
Yeah.
well. I could just go and do it.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. What a great, very solidified experience of what that would be like if you had that, right? I love,
Yeah.
love. But it's okay. Not everybody has all of the senses when they first start to do this, things like that. So You don't have to be able to smell it, but it, you know, just like create all those details. If you could smell it, what smells would be around, like, so that you know that, right? Those types of things, just as you paint that picture. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so homework time, and let's talk about what we're going to be doing for the next week. First off, I would really love, thank you, Becky, for already doing this, posting a video in the group. And you don't, if you're too shy to do video, it's okay. You can just post some text and a picture or something. But I want to see your energy. For me, I do healings and transmissions and things like that. I'd love to know what you look like, what you like, if you know, so if you're not willing to do a video and show me your energy, if you would post a picture inside the group and share what you want to manifest, you know, that allows that energy, and then comment on somebody else's. You know, we want to create that group dynamic in there and really do that. I would suggest getting a journal. Or a manifesting journal or something like that, where you're keeping everything together for this to really hone in on that manifesting and that creating for yourself. As you all know, you all chose one. You know, we chose one for the 6 weeks. What, you know, pay attention to, like, when you post, or to, what category is it in? What chakra is it related to? Pay attention. Do you have any illnesses or anything in that chakra area or related to any of that stuff that do it? And then it's like building the muscle daily, right? So what we're going to do is you're gonna do that 3 to 5 minute visualization a day. You'll learn next week how to take the next step in adding in the emotions and getting into alignment and all of those things. But you're going to do that visualization, and I call it overnight oats. So my recommendation, and you don't have to do this, but my recommendation is what I call the overnight oats method. How many of you have ever made overnight oats? Which is where you take like chia seeds or oatmeal and you put it in your refrigerator with milk on it, and it cooks itself overnight so that it's ready in the morning for you, right? It's like raw, it's like a raw food, but it's like, it feels like it's cooked. That's kind of what we're going to do with your visualization. You're going to cook it overnight, because what happens right before you go to bed, and we'll get into the brain waves, but right now you're in a beta brainwave, and right before you go into sleep, you shift into an alpha and a theta brainwave, which is the programming brainwaves. That's where all the magic happens, which is where you program. You don't create and manifest from the beta, you create and manifest in the alpha and in the theta. So this takes less than 5 minutes. Again, you're just doing that visualization. So right before bedtime, you're going to create that image in your mind, right? And you're going to relax as you visualize and connect with the feelings of that joy, that satisfaction of when your desire has come into manifestation. And you're just going to do that for about 3 to 5 minutes, and feeling those feelings come up right before you start to fade. And then with the gentlest of intention, you're going to affirm aloud that this is what you would attract to your life. So if you have a partner that's in bed next to you, they might think you're a little nutty, but it's okay. Bring them along board. And know that your mind can make it so. So once you've done that, what happens is it literally, because we have the special magic that we go into when we're sleeping, because we're out of this dimension. We work in the Akashic, we'll work with our guides, we'll work with things that your brain and your body will go towards out into the field to bring back the experiences and the things that will bring this into your life. And what will happen is you'll start to wake up in the morning with inspirations and ideas and things and ways that are going to move you towards that more. You might wake up with the answer to why you have the illness. You might wake up with an answer to how you can make more money. You might wake up with an answer to where you're stuck. Like, these things start because it starts to give you the building blocks as it works overnight. So it's my favorite time to do it, and because it's going to cook overnight. Your manifestation is going to cook overnight, like the overnight oats, and create more manifestation for you in the morning. And then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to every day you're going to get up and you're going to ask the universe for a sign or a blessing. Why? Because you need to be used to asking for things and getting and receiving them. So every day you're going to ask for a blessing or a sign from the universe, something to show that the field exists. And then you're going to come into the group and post what showed up for you. I mean, it could be something as simple as, you know, you get a phone call from a friend, or, you know, something cool happens, or the sun shines in a different way. Like, you never know, right? But you're going to ask every day for something to be shown to you. It can be something fun. It can be something extravagant. It can be silly, whatever it is, right? But do it, recognize, look for it, and then share it. Because what happens when you share, the more that you share your creations and what's showing up in your life, it's like a snowball. How many of you guys have ever made like snowmen? It exponentially gets bigger. Everybody compounds together, and all of you working in the field together bring more and more magic and miracles about. It's super cool. It's awesome the way that it works. And so I want you to do that every day. If you're not somebody that gets on Facebook every day, I totally understand. Maybe you wait until day 7 and put all 7 of them in one post or whatever. You know, I'm not asking you to, you know, get sucked up in social media. But I'm asking you to be engaged in your life and in this on a daily basis. That's what it's really about. And I'll be in there sharing mine every day, so that, you know, so that we can all do this together. So that is our class for today. I'm going to hold for ahas, questions, anything that you need right now. You can just unmute yourself and ask a question. You don't have to raise your hand, or, you know, whatever you need.
This is Dickie.
Hi, Dickie.
Hi. I got the inference that not only can we work on what we're manifesting right now, but we can work on maybe our number 3 that we want to do, and be able to follow the formula.
Yeah.
And so I heard that you manifest certain things on certain days and certain times.
I've gotten to a point where because I have 7 days that I do different ones on, you know, I work on my, like, I've gotten to a point now where I kind of encompass all of my thing into like one, because it's my life, right? So I've created that whole vision. But right now I want you to be specific and not hodgepodge things together, and get them very specific. So separating them out, definitely. Just make sure that if you're going to do more than one, if you want to do 1 and 3, that they don't contradict each other, right? Like, pay attention right at the core to make sure that they are not a contradiction to each other. That's the biggest thing. But yes,
Okay.
you can definitely, if this is something you've been doing for a while and you've been doing this work and you feel comfortable in the formula and you want to do more than one and you want to go for it, I say go for it. Absolutely.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else? Questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
All right, what's the difference between daydreaming and visualization?
Yeah, so a very great question. So daydreaming is when you are in an experience and it's kind of like, oh, I wish that I had this thing and I'm kind of off in la la land. Whereas visualization is very intentional, and it's a creation around what you're wanting to create in your life, and you're setting a specific time for it, and you're being very focused in that. And you're also going to be creating, which you'll learn next week, is how to create the emotion and the feeling that goes with it too. So it's not just this like, oh, I wish that I could create this thing, or I'm seeing this thing happening, but I've created my formula around it. I have an intention, because intention is the most powerful thing. I have this intention, and I'm setting aside the time to create my life in this way. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. All right. All right, my beautiful people. Thank you so much. Renee, did you have a question? I saw you.
Yeah, I
just
did. So
Great.
just so I've got it clear, because there's kind of 3 areas I want to work on, but for the purpose of this,
Yeah.
we're just sticking with the one for now.
Yeah, unless that one, that if there's 2 that are, the reason I don't want you doing 2 is because I don't want them to counteract each other. If you have two that are like synonymous, like right with you right now, the freedom and the business thing are very contradictory for you. So I wouldn't say those 2, because we've got to get you to a point where you're healing that piece before those two will come into alignment. Right.
Right.
Right. So I want, because if I'm creating a business where if I think the business, I'm going to be busy, but I want freedom, I'm working on freedom and I'm working on a business, they're going to counteract each other. So we've got to get you into alignment where business equals freedom. And then once business equals freedom for you, then those two would be able to work together. For me, business equals freedom. Having my own business equals freedom. That's why I travel the world and the things that I do. But I believe that, right? And so that's my experience. So I can do that. Whereas for someone that is like, I've worked with several mothers who are like, the reason they don't create the successful businesses is because they think that it's going to take away from time with their kids. So they never create this, they don't get either, right? So but if you have two that are in the same boathouse together that you want to work on, then absolutely, just make sure they're not contradicting each other.
So if I can shift it myself and feel it and muscle test it, then I can combine it. Or
if you can get to a place where your business, if you can, like, and that's just part of doing, like, do a little bit of the work and the coaching and the NLP and the stuff around, the belief system, to get you to where your business, because consciously that your business equals freedom, but somewhere in your body right now it doesn't. And so we got to shift into that. And once that happens, then then those two would go hand in hand for you.
So because of like some of the work I do, I know how to shift it. But do you think for the purpose of this, it's better just to go through the process, stick to one and let it come up while I'm working?
We have a session together next week so we can work on this specifically, and maybe we can shift it and then you can do that. But for right now, stick to the one. We can always add in the second one, in a week or two.
I'll not try and be the healer and coach on myself. I'll allow you to do that. And yes, next week. Amazing.
Yay. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, all you lovely people. Having a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you are.
Good morning.
Thank you.
This evening for the rest of the week. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. It was wonderful.